All right, it's time to get started. Good to see you, Cohagen. Good to see you, Holster. Let's go ahead and get this started, shall we? Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here. Let me turn the desktop audio on as well. We are here to react to some stuff. We are here because of you, Mr. Anderson. We're here to take from you what you tried to take from us. But we're here to react to some stuff. Now, you guys have told me about... Echo? Is the echo intentional? No, it shouldn't be. It should not be. Because I haven't changed anything. I haven't changed anything. It should still be on, like, my regular... Sound like an announcer? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get ready to rumble! Hold on, let me make sure. I didn't change anything. Yeah, my microphone. Headphones get outputted there. That's weird. Huh. Okay, let me mess with my audio settings real... Let me mess with my audio settings real quick. I didn't change anything. Hold on, let me switch it. Okay, it's picking up the ambient noise with my regular microphone. Now we put it back to where it was before. That's weird. I didn't change anything. Why am I getting like an announcer type tone? Yeah, hold on. Let me fix this real quick. I don't know why it's doing this. Let me bring my voice mod up because well, let me go ahead and say, yo, people's Kyushu92 here. We're going to be reacting to some Snow White comments as a song. I'm going to change my voice and see how it sounds. All right, let me see how I sound audio-wise. Okay, check. Okay, let me switch back to clean. And we should be good. Yeah. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on, I'm getting dual audio from somewhere. I think I know what it is. Checkity check, checkity check, check. All's well on the home front. Are we good on the home front? Everyone who can hear my voice, sound off. It's good now? Okay. I know what the problem is. So, the voice mod program that I use for making my voice come out as clean as possible, no background noise, and just as regular, they had like an update that says, hey, we got version 3 out. Would you like to try that out? And I thought, I'll do that. I'll mess with that. That should be fine. Shouldn't really be a problem. But come to find out that when you have one active voice mod program going and another at the same time, it produced that echo effect, which means probably gonna have to disable that newer one that they created. That and the fact that it doesn't sync up with my Stream Deck, so my own sounds are not on that. It didn't transfer over. So, yeah. Sorry for taking so long in order to fix that. I apologize. But it's time, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. Let me go ahead and bring up this webpage here. We are here to react to funniest Snow White trailer comments as a song. Now, this was suggested to me, and there's 2 of them. There's 2 videos for it. There's one down here, and the thing is, this released less than 2 weeks ago, and it's already at 3.2 million views already, which is pretty much more than the people who disliked it, and way more disliked the movie trailer, and way more than the people who actually. Matter of fact, there are more people who like this. No need to apologize. Technical issues going to be technical issues. I know, but I do it anyway. I do it anyway, just to make sure that no harm, no foul towards anyone watching me. But what I find funny is how the Disney's Snow White trailer has less likes than a video making fun of it. Last I checked, matter of fact, let's go ahead and look this up real quick. Last I checked, Snow White had like 42,000. Yeah, the trailer itself has 8.7 million views from 2 months ago. The funniest Snow White trailer comments as a song is slowly starting to catch up to it. But if we come over here, let me go ahead and pause because no one cares. If you can see here down here at the dislike bar, 1.1 million dislikes. This is currently the most disliked trailer in recent history. But if you look at the likes, it's only at 42,000, while this one has 153,000. But let's go ahead and watch the video. The comments have more likes than the trailer itself. Yeah, ain't that crazy, subject? Ain't that crazy? Also, we gotta do some more Warhammer stuff. We gotta react to some more Warhammer things. The newest Data Vault update for Space Marine 2 just dropped, so I definitely want to check that out. But I also want to react to some more Warhammer stuff. Ooh, while we're here, you know what? No, I'm gonna save it for its own thing. I'm gonna react to the Astartes trailer, and mind you, I've seen it already. I've seen it already. You know what? Since I've seen it already, it wouldn't be really all that genuine for me to react to it, and I've already seen it. But it's still an awesome trailer. So we can watch it here again just to marvel at it. But we got to do some more Warhammer stuff. Let's begin with funniest Snow White trailer comments as a song from Chat Music. If I saw this movie on a plane, I would still walk out. If I saw this movie on a plane, I would still walk out. That's the first line you start with? Let me make sure. How's the volume sound? Everyone can hear fine. The music fine, right? Do I need to bump it up? I'll bump it up just a little bit.
If I saw this movie on a plane, I would still walk out. This trailer makes me want to sit on the TV and look at my cow. I paid nothing to watch this trailer, but I already want my money back. Coming to a
It's bad when you look at a trailer and you still feel like you. It's bad when you look at a trailer and you feel like you've wasted your money on it, and it's a free trailer. It's bad. It's bad. I don't think we've ever seen a movie get disliked this much in a very long time.
theater near you to watch this trailer, but I already want my money back. Coming to a theater near you, me, is that a threat? They should have made Rachel CGI instead. Ron Brown and the 7 Discord mods.
Mud Brown and the 7 Discord mods. Nah, because them dwarves, horrific. We've already gone down this path talking about this movie when I did that Disney live action remake stream, and it is just insane how bad it is. Due to decisions made for the main heroine, who's supposed to be Snow White, and also Peter Dinklage sticking his nose where it doesn't belong and pretty much ruining chances for, little people to actually have a role in a new Disney film. This whole movie just reeks of people not reading the room. Someone pitched this idea. There was a meeting amongst very highly paid people to get this movie greenlit. It was then greenlit. Contracts were put out. Actors and actresses were called upon. Money was spent on this movie. Someone said yes to this. Someone who gets paid than every single person who subscribed to me combined said this was okay for it to hit theaters, let alone the internet, where the internet has absolutely no filter whatsoever. Someone said this was fine. It's okay. People will love this movie. Disney does not know what people want at all. They literally said, you know what? I think this will be fine. Hey, we'll get someone who doesn't know when to shut up or be quiet in interviews. Now, here's something that needs to be addressed about Rachel Zegler and the stuff that she said concerning Snow White. If you have to look at a previous Disney film, like the cartoon original film, and you have to poke fun at it to make your film, the newer one, look good, it's not good. Even if they use the real dwarves, it would still be horrible based on the leak they already lost since the leak. Destruct, my friend, good to see you. I hope life has been treating you well. And this goes for not just Disney films, but any film in general. If an old film comes out, and then you make a new one, like a remake of it, but the comments you say during your interviews towards this film is to deride the original and make it look less than what the remake is supposed to be, as if the remake is supposed to be the superior version. If you can't talk about the previous film without saying like, well, the prince is actually kind of a stalker. So in the old film, if your comments paint a picture of you don't respect the other film, and you're trying to beef up the remake as it's supposed to be the better version, not only are you an idiot, but you're also making the film look bad. Because when it comes to good remakes, you respect the source material, okay? If you're gonna remake a Disney film, you don't look at the previous one and say like, That won't be accepted nowadays, and that's the reason why this one's going to be the perfect version. The moment you start acting like that, you've already failed. And that's the reason why people really don't like her. It ain't got nothing to do with how she looks. It's got to do with her character. She can be as beautiful as all get out, but the moment your attitude and personality is stank, so is your face. But let's keep going. Yeah, I agree. Instead of making this, they could have come up with something original. Don't disrespect the epics. That's what I'm saying, Destruct. See, Disney is making all of these live action films, and the only question is, why? No one asked for a Snow White remake, a live action one. Yes, Cinderella did good, and the Alice in Wonderland movies, they did well as well. But those were anomalies. You know, random lightning striking in the same place twice type moments, okay? It's not really something that you think, okay, those were successful, and then there's a massive gap when they're not successful, and you think, no, they did good before. No! You gotta be consistent with it. When you're doing Disney live action remakes, every single one needs to hit. If you have a miss, you take a break. You don't try to make another one and try to recoup the loss because the last one didn't do well. You take a break. Gauge the audience. See what people are saying online to make sure you don't get ridiculed. Like this movie is now. It's not even out yet, and it's already one of the most disliked things on YouTube in recent memory. They could have made a sequel, create new characters. They can't. They need something we know to spread the message easier. It's the same as how they are just milking MCU instead of coming up with something new in the superhero genre. We already know the story and saw all the movies. Yeah. So here's my thing. With the MCU, I stand by this. Look, I know I'm excited to watch the Fantastic Four. I truly am, because that's the most excitement I've felt towards the MCU in quite a while. I've kind of fallen off of the MCU just a little bit. I feel like peak, these are some accomplishments. There are some accomplishments you don't want. Oh no, definitely. Also, hi, Kitty, good to see you. But one of the biggest accomplishments you want associated with your film is not it being one of the most, being a trailer that has over 1 million dislikes and not even a fraction of the amount of people who are actually interested in watching the movie. It hasn't even hit 50,000 people, half of 100,000 people who actually want to see this. And mind you, this is on Disney's main YouTube channel. You can't even break 50,000 people who want to see Snow White? Mind you, 50,000 people on YouTube does not encompass the entire world. I'm just generalizing. But if you can't break 50,000 people, but you got 1.1 million people that says like, nah, this is garbage, this is trash, and multiple people have picked apart your film, picked apart your trailer, pointed out everything wrong. Even I did. I went off on a rant, and I believe either Halster or Kitty created a clip from the stream we had where Peter Dinklage pretty much ruined any little person's chance of ever being in this film, and they replaced it with CGI monstrosities. Yet you see a little person in an actual acting role in the trailer, but he's not a dwarf. So you can't have people be in the role of dwarves, but you can just have them being regular people? So it's questionable at best. So I feel like after Endgame, they should have ended that universe, make something new, like a new universe. I honestly feel like the writing and just the overall structure of the MCU, when we still had Thanos, was pretty much peak MCU. From Iron Man all the way to basically Endgame. I feel like that was peak MCU for me. Because after that, we got some stinkers. Ant-Man, Quantumania, Black Widow. There's just... It just felt like it was not there. But we're not even through this video. This is a minute and 47 seconds long, and I'm just ranting about just Disney and how bland they've become. Remember when you said Disney and it just filled your mind with wonder and amazement and just thinking like, wow, with Disney, we had Toy Story, Cars, Treasure Planet. What's another one? Inside Out. A lot of good films. And then you think of the 2D animation, original Lilo and Stitch. Let me see, what's another good one? 101 Dalmatians. And mind you, these are old films, but when you would say the word Disney, the name Disney in the past, you thought, okay, Disney's about to cook now. They're about to give us some good animation. It's either going to be a 3D movie, live action film, or something else entirely. But you used to be filled with wonder. Now you say Disney, and it is literally a shot in the dark of whether it's going to be good or bad. You can't look at it head on thinking like, oh, I can remain hopeful throughout the entire year because I know Disney's going to deliver. Now you look at Disney and they're just releasing stuff and it's just like, They used to make drama too. They used to make good stuff. I like how Nolan just ended Batman in 3 movies and not make it like a cash grab 7 to 8 movie series. He could have done that too. He could have, but Nolan actually has common sense and knows, okay, you know what? It's time to stop here and leave it here. Maybe that was me. I know I clipped one of the puppet trailers and food reviews. I think it was you who actually, yeah, it was you, Kitty, who made the clip of me saying, like, is that a little person? And I walked off screen. I believe it was you because I think you tagged me in it on the Discord. Doing almost fine, Kitty. Had some problems with my leg. Be careful out there, Cohagen. Everyone, from Kitty to Cohagen, everybody else in between, please stay safe. And take care of yourselves. Don't push yourselves too hard. Make sure to rest when you can. We need to get back to this, but I can tell should I have kids, and I would very much like to, I'm going to tell them what Disney used to represent. It used to represent the wonders of imagination. It used to represent there was no limit to what creativity could achieve. Before DreamWorks, before Paramount, before any other place that could produce any sort of animated films, Disney used to be the reigning king where you could trust them with literally everything. You could trust your kids in front of the movies they showed without them trying to throw in subliminal messaging that parents should be the main people that's doing that for them, and not movies and television trying to tell them what's right and rather than their parents telling them what's right. You could trust Disney along with your kids without them trying to convince them of something else. Because, you know, we got to convince today's youth nowadays. You used to be able to look at Disney with absolute hope and with not a care in the world. Without a care in the world. And now you look at Disney and it just feels like they fell off so hard. It's no longer about family. It's no longer about producing creative properties that can influence, not influence, but that can stand the test of time. There have been so many Disney animated films that have released, and you probably don't even know some of them because they're just not that memorable. You remember the ones you grew up with, and maybe there were some great ones that are released throughout the years, but you don't remember in and every single one. I could say Incredibles. People imagine everything about that movie. So many great things about Incredibles. Toy Story. You got a friend in me. You can remember that too. Treasure Planet. Jim Hawkins and just the fantastic 2D, 3D animation of that entire film. You can remember that too. But you say Disney right now and you really can only go back as far as you've seen your last watched Disney film in theaters, which probably is either a year or 2 years ago, or maybe even further. Nothing current with Disney right now. This is Disney. Also, Destruct, I can't remember because it actually has been a minute since you've been here. Were you a mod? I don't know if you made a new profile or if you just changed the name. Were you a mod? Were you one of my moderators? Or no? I need to double check. Were you one of my mods or no? I love watching Wizards of Waverly Place. Love that show. Nothing's more nostalgic for me than that. No, I wasn't a mod. Okay. I just wanted to double check. I wanted to double check. You who that so the TV shows for Disney were amazing as well. But let's get back to this because we've still stopped and I haven't progressed. So we need to get through funniest Snow White trailer comments as a song.
To a theater near you, me, is that a threat? They should have made Rachel CGI instead.
Just a regular Veer? Okay.
And the 7 Discord mods. The CGI looks much better when I turn my monitor on.
The CGI looks better when I turn my monitor off. That's bad. Your CGI looks better when my eyes are closed. Your stuff looks better when I can't see it. Bro, I'm about to send you something on Discord. God, Jill, my friend, it is good to see you. Really, they should have doubled and made Rachel Zegler CGI too. You should have made Snow White a fully CGI film. It could have been Snow White, but in 3D. You could have done so much with a purely CGI 3D animated Snow White film, but you decided to make it live action. No real people, just purely CGI. You know how we got the 3D Charlie. Oh, I'm cooking right now. I'm cooking. You know how we got 3D. You know how we got 3D Charlie Brown? Like the 3D Charlie Brown movies? Y'all know how we got that? You could have done the same for Snow White. Stop making live action remakes! Just make them 3D. You could have done the same thing for Snow White. That would have allowed you to make exaggerated facial expressions. You could have done all sorts of different things with that. But now we're stuck with Snow Zegler and the seven demons. That's what we got. Also, you say you was gonna send me something. Hold on. Woo! Okay. Real quick. WB Games is facing leadership changes and a thin release slate. Rocksteady is reportedly working on a new single-player Batman game, but it's years away. Monolith's Wonder Woman game has been rebooted and is still struggling. I don't think we're ever going to see Wonder Woman. I don't think Godzilla has been saying this, but I've been trying to hold out some 1% of hope. But I don't think that Wonder Woman game is getting made. I think it's getting canned. And to think that we just lost a Transformers game, we lose Wonder Woman. WB Montreal is now assisting on Wonder Woman while pitching a Game of Thrones game after having scrapped a new iteration of Gotham Knights. John Constantine. Having scrapped a new iteration of Gotham Knights, a John Constantine game, and a Flash game. I'm upset. Avalanche is focused on Hogwarts Legacy updates and a sequel. The future of WB's gaming division remains uncertain. No, that's crazy. No, that's crazy. Lost hope as the Transformers game was canceled. I know. You see. I see now. You mean to tell me that a Flash game was on the table, and these jokers said no? But so all this stuff, everything started to go downhill as soon as Zaslav got in charge. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Hybrid, good to see you. That's crazy. But you know what? At least we got Japan and China when it comes to video games. Because at least they won't let us down. Ravi, good to see you, my friend. Hello. That's crazy. That is crazy. No, we're just gonna keep on doing Batman stuff because it works. We're not gonna be adventurous. We're not gonna be like Marvel and have Black Panther, Iron Man, Captain America / Black Panther, Blade, and I'm missing a game. I'm missing a Wolverine as well. No, we're not gonna try. Marvel already has 5 games in the works that are being done by studios that they trust with their properties, but we're not even going to bother. Checking out. Peace out. All right, Kitty, get some rest. Thank you for stopping by. Continue to get some rest. Thank you for stopping by. We need to continue with this video, though, because I want to keep roasting Disney for this trailer.
CGI looks much better when I turn my monitor. Discord mods. The CGI looks much better when I turn my monitor off. Disney invites you and I must politely decline.
Disney invites you and I must politely decline. I'm sorry. We're going to have to pass you off over to China and Japan like money and people like to give them their money. Wuwa exists, Genshin exists, all the Honkai Star Rail exists, all these games from Japan, from Team Ninja, all these games we want to play. Let's see, just finished reading my pending 20 chapters of One Piece today, holding my urge to talk about them. So much happened, but it would be irrelevant to the stream. Yeah, we'll hold on to it for the next One Piece stream for this upcoming Sunday. We got so much to talk about in One Piece, but we won't do it here. But, Disney invites you and I must politely decline. Disney invites you. Is that a threat? Coming to a theater? Disney invites you. Sorry, I have declined your invitation. I'm busy. I'm sick. I'm going to be sick that day. I'm going to be sick on the day that this film releases. You going to go see Snow White? No, sorry, but I'm going to be bedridden. Yeah, there's a Lilo and Stitch live-action movie being done as well. And we could go down another road of roasting it if the trailer ain't good. Apparently, Stitch went to China at some point. I thought he went to Japan. As far as I know, there was like a Stitch, I wouldn't say a Stitch anime, but Stitch went to Japan in one cartoon, I believe, where it was actually centered on a girl in Japan. Yeah, he actually did go to Japan. Not interested in anything Rachel Zegler is in. Look. Stitch the Chinese show. Oh, okay. But here's my thing, Gajil. When you have someone who is in an interview and half the stuff they say towards Snow White is to try and prop up the newer film while trying to bring down the previous, first full-length feature film from Disney. The very first Disney movie-length film. And a lot of the stuff you say in your interviews concerning it is all like, well, we wouldn't have that stuff today. She's not the fairest of them all because of her beauty. She's the fairest of them all because she's going to be a leader and all this random stuff. And you're trying to make the previous film look less, I wouldn't say inclusive, but you're trying to make the less film feel lesser in comparison to the live action remake. I don't care if she can sing. I don't care how she looks. You don't insult the classics. You don't insult what got Disney started in making feature films in the first place, okay? So that's not how it works. You ain't gonna talk down about this original Snow White film and think that people are gonna be like, you know what? She sure is right. I think this newer film gonna look better. Not in this house. No, you can't be doing that. You can't be disrespecting the classics like this in this house and think people are going to enjoy the newer versions more. Fool. Continuing.
I'm rooting for the poison apple. Why is Lord Farquaad playing Snow White? This movie's for the poison apple. Why is Lord Farquaad?
I can't unsee it. Neither can you. I can't unsee it. Neither can you. I thought one of the comments, if this movie comes in my dreams, I would declare it as nightmare level. Oh my goodness, we are definitely going to be reading the comments down below.
Farquaad playing Snow White? This movie should come with a disclaimer. No dwarfs were harmed, but your childhood might be.
Oh no, everyone's childhood for Snow White will be ruined by this movie. It will be. Because they're going to take everything you enjoy about Snow White and try and modernize it and marginalize it and lessen it, because we need to prop up the message that your beauty doesn't decide if you're the fairest of them all, but only if you're a leader for your people.
I haven't seen something self-implode this hard since that Titan submarine.
I got no jokes for that one. I got no jokes from that one.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, as a German I claim cultural appropriation. Mirror, mirror on the wall, as a German I claim cultural appropriation. Mirror, mirror on the wall, Snow White in the 7 CGI abomination, making the
Snow White and the 7 CGI abominations.
dwarfs look like a PS1 hack was a bold abomination, making the dwarfs look like a PS1 hack was a bold choice. Rachel Sadler looks like a medieval squire boy.
She kind of does. All she's missing is like the hat, like the pointed hat with the feather in the cap and a long scroll that says, "Hear ye, this movie will blow chunks. Do not waste your money on this so-called film. You'll have a better time and a much more relaxing evening watching paint dry. Thus saith Disney and the brain-dead CEOs." See, because the thing is, this is supposed to be a whole dress, but she literally has the upper clothing part of a squire boy. Of a medieval squire dude. And all she needs is just like the puffy shorts with the stockings and the pointed brown shoes and reading a scroll out. That's all she needs.
Marvel's lost $237 million. Snow White, hold my beer.
The Marvels lost The Marvels, you know, the Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau and Kamala Khan movie, lost $237 million. How much did Snow White take to make? How much did Snow White take to make? Hold on, Snow White. What was the budget for this film? What was the budget? $209 million. And this is going to be dropping 2 days before my birthday. How dare you insult me? Well, actually, my birthday is going to be on a Sunday, so I don't need to worry about my birthday week being sullied at all. But $209 million. Martin Kleba is grumpy? Your boy from Pirates? Your boy from Pirates of the Caribbean? He's in this? You have him be the voice, but you couldn't have him fit the role! Disney, this performed better than we expected, mainly for the CGI dwarves, or so I heard. Look, if half of your budget is going towards CGI, something wrong. Something is wrong. If half of your budget is going to CGI, you're doing something wrong. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Wow. $209 million. Let's look through this real quick. Let me see. Visual effects. Right. Well, I'm going to have to dip going out with the family. I'm going to watch the VOD when I get back. Holster, you enjoy yourself. I'm going to keep roasting this. Patrick Page. Voice and motion capture for the Magic Mirror. Martin Kleba is grumpy, but who are the voices of the other dwarves, though? Because I got questions. If you actually have one little person, one short person, who's fulfilling the role, why did you mention Pirates of the Caribbean? Have to watch those masterpieces again? Yeah, back when Disney actually meant business with their films. Sure, it may have tapered off with like On Stranger Tides and, Dead Man Tell No Tales, but at least those were films you could tolerate. Yeah, the biggest... Look at this. Ain't this something? Not that anyone should look at Wikipedia to be the end-all, be-all thing towards, like, something you're looking up. There's always different places where you can go to look stuff up. But, oh. And for some reason... Oh, that's why I was hearing an additional echo. Hold on. Okay. Button is not working. Pardon me. Hitting buttons. Okay. I was wondering why I was hearing a double echo. Apologies for that. But that was just for me. I don't think you guys could hear the double echo coming through. But this is something you really don't want to have on the front part of your film being talked about. The film elicited pre-release controversies with criticism levied against the colorblind casting, story changes, Zegler's public disapproval of the original film, and reimagining of the Seven Dwarves. Scheduled to be released in theaters. That's the last thing you want. Let me see. During an interview with Extra, Zegler revealed that Snow White would be a lot stronger than the original. Is it necessary? Here's my thing. Is it necessary for every single character, every single female character that Disney makes, is it necessary for them to be portrayed as strong? Like, there is nothing wrong with a character that is not strong at all. Not just with female characters, but male characters as well. You can have them be strong in different ways, but if that's the first thing that comes to your mind, as if, you know, Snow White herself wasn't strong, first of all, there was nothing wrong with Snow White from the original. There was nothing wrong with her at all. She was the kindest, most nicest person, and in that of itself is its own level of strength. You are so nice that even people who are sent to kill you can't even do it because you just exude goodness. It ain't got nothing to do with her not being strong. You are just so fair, you are so beautiful, and you just have this presence of, like, I couldn't possibly harm this person. It ain't got nothing to do with strength. It's just your entire being, your entire presence. That's its own level of strong. If Zegler can't see how strong Snow White is, if she can get someone who told the Queen of the Kingdom, yes, I would kill this person. He goes out and he sees her and says, nope, can't do it. I can't do it. Even though I just promised the Queen I would, I can't bring myself to do it because I just can't do it to you. It's like her whole aura, if you will. Her whole presence is like, you may have some bad thoughts, but you look at me and now you can't do it anymore. So kind and so nice and so fair and so beautiful that he says, like, just run away. The Queen just snitching too. Snow White didn't even say anything to him. He just started blabbing. Yeah, my bad. The Queen wanted me to come and kill you, but I can't bring myself to do it. Run away and never return. You just gave this woman your word that you would kill this person, and you already went back the moment you laid eyes on her. That in and of itself is a level of strength. So Rachel saying, like, she's going to be a lot stronger than the original. Snow White was able to convince a person that was sent there to kill her to not kill her at all and then let her go freely without her even saying a word. Let that sink in. That's its own level of strength. When you can make someone who has hostile intent towards you go back on that and say, you know what? I'm going to go kill a different creature and bring that creature's heart to the Queen so that she never has to hunt. Snow White didn't even tell him to do it. He did it of his own volition. Do you realize how much strength you have as an individual when you don't even need to convince a person to not only not kill you, but also kill another creature so you can bring that creature's heart to the Queen, to convince the Queen that she's dead so that you can live your life, and you didn't even tell this person anything? That's power! So what you mean? This Snow White's gonna be a lot stronger than the original. I don't think you even saw the original. See, this is coming from memories that I have of this movie when I watched it. I believe we still got the VHS, probably not in the house, but probably in storage. That's stronger than whatever Zegler thinks she's gonna do. Let me tell you what's gonna happen in the film, because they do it all the time and it's so old and so tired. She's gonna talk to the people and give them a rousing speech and stand up to the Queen, convincing the civilians, oh, we need to stand up to the Queen, we're not gonna take it, kind of vibes. She's gonna do all that, which we've heard so many times before, to the point where I'm just tired of that whole, I'm gonna convince all the people that we don't need to live underneath this tyranny. Okay, who are you? I'm Snow White. Well, what are you gonna do about it? I'm going to stand up to her. I'm gonna convince her that she's wrong. I'm gonna incite a rebellion amongst the people. I honestly feel like that's what they're gonna do. She's gonna give this rousing speech. This big old, either it's gonna be a regular talking or they're gonna turn it into a musical number where all the people are rallying together to stand up to the evil queen. Wait a minute. Something just came to mind. You know how in the original trailer it shows her standing up to the queen? Is that gonna be after she gets poisoned by the apple? So instead of hold on. If she's gonna be confronting the queen and apparently having the whole back of the entire kingdom behind her, is that gonna happen after she gets poisoned by the apple? Which leaves the question, how is she gonna wake up from being poisoned by the apple? Because Zegler is already put into place like, oh, she's not gonna be the type of princess that's waiting on her prince to come. So how are we gonna end this? Because here's the thing. Oh no, I just discovered some discrepancies in this film already. In the original, Snow White gets waken up by true love's kiss from the prince because the prince loves her. And when that happens, that's after the dwarves go after the evil queen. You know, the evil queen that turned into the old hag lady. They chase her down. They stood on business. They said like, oh no, Snow White, she's not waking up. Who did this? Oh, that old queen? All right, get your sticks, get your clubs, get your pickaxes. We going to bludgeon in some old lady's skull. They go after this woman, they chase her down, and she gets done in because she tries to crush him with a rock, and lightning strikes the piece of cliff she's standing on, and she falls to her death. Only then do they go back to Snow White, and they mourn her supposed death, where the prince and that's when the prince comes in, and she wakes up, she's happy, she's with the prince, and they ride off into the sunset. How are you going to do this film where the evil queen gets her comeuppance? Because if the trailer shows her confronting the queen, which obviously didn't happen in the original film, does that mean that everything that happens with the old evil queen hag, that her getting chased by the dwarves, does it not conclude with her death then? Or are they just switching stuff around? I'm not even going to use my brain to make any theories on this movie. I'm just trying to make sense of this stupidity right now, because it doesn't make sense. Are you trying to reach a meaningful conclusion with the big bad? She's going to pull a Palpatine. The attempt on my life has left me scarred and deformed. But I assure you, my resolve has never been stronger. Good lord. Okay. Me as a village residents, this is a load of barnacle. But let's get back because we still got a part two. This is ridiculous.
$137 million, Snow White, hold my beer. Disney used to make people famous, now it ends acting career. Mirror, mirror.
Just thought of something funny. She's gonna use Talk No Jutsu on Queen. I'm so tired of Talk No Jutsu being used on villains nowadays. Whatever happened to Disney just straight up killing people? Straight up killing their villains. Now not only do we have meaningful conclusions to villain confrontations, but in some cases the villain sees the errors of their ways and they stop being bad, and then every bad thing that they did beforehand is like kind of moderately waved off, and we just smile at the villain like because we're friends now. No. If you a villain and you enact plans that could cause the death of millions, the only conclusion to you as a villain, especially in the Disney movie, is death. if you cause the death of people in general, death is what you deserve as a villain. An eye for an eye, you understand? Not jail, not jailing, not imprisonment, not exile. No. Off with your head. Why is Disney so scared to kill off its villains? Because they think people are interested in origin stories? Next thing you know, we're going to be getting the Evil Queen movie because Snow White did so well. And I say, quote, did so well because we all know that this movie is not going to hit. We know it. I say that without a shadow of a doubt that it ain't going to hit. It's not. People are tired of Disney. Okay? People are tired of Disney.
On the wall, why the seats are empty in Cinema Hall. Mirror, mirror on the wall, what's the biggest Disney flop of all? Shut it. Shut it.
Ooh. Do y'all think this is going to be one of the biggest Disney flops? Do you think this is going to be one of the biggest? Here's the thing. This is going to be the first Disney film that drops this year. Disney hasn't released any newer films. This is going to be the first Disney film that drops this year, and it might wind up being its biggest flop. And its first flop this year. Honestly, nothing about this film just screams like, I also miss villains falling from high cliffs. Whatever happened to that? Gaston, the Evil Queen, Clayton, but his kind of ended in a hanging. Who's next? Syndrome wouldn't count because he had death by basically being ground up in a jet turbine and then his whole plane blowing up. The old guy from Up. Him jumping out the window and his leg getting caught up in the balloons, but some of them snap and you just see him fall to his. You know what? Actually, you know what? I can't actually do that. I can't actually do that simply because Disney, if I leave the audio in, Disney would more than likely copyright it. Disney Princess used to be, like magic? I cast physics! No, because we can't have women looking like they're weaker than men. We got to make sure that women are just as physically capable as men, even though there's obvious difference between that. But we got to make it seem... Because here's the thing. Did y'all know in the Little Mermaid live-action movie that it's not Prince Eric who kills Ursula, but it's Ariel who does it? Which is, opposite of the original. But did y'all know that? I know none of y'all watched the Little Mermaid movie. I know none of y'all watched it. But I recently learned that Ariel is the one who takes out Ursula, rather than Prince Eric driving the front end of a ship's figurehead, which was, fashioned into a spear, and impales Ursula on it. No, it's Ariel who does that. Women must be Rambo with lipstick. And that whole idea is just ridiculous. Because it's unnecessary. Stop trying to force girl bosses. Sure, because my thing is, the whole idea of female characters being strong, independent women. We've seen it before. You watched it, my apologies? No, I didn't. I wouldn't be caught dead watching The Little Mermaid. I listened to someone else who saw it. Work smart, not hard. So I don't watch live action Disney remakes. I don't. They don't scream Disney. They scream cash grab. That's not the Disney I grew up with. And it's not that and the current Disney is not a Disney that I will support. I used to be the type of person that would be happy to have a Mickey Mouse hat with ears on top. Now it's like, man, get that stuff off of me. Get this stuff off of me. Give me a Naruto jacket or a Soul Reaper howdy or even Luffy's straw hat from One Piece. Give me some of that. Give me Midoriya's red shoes. Give me All Might's big old baggy green pants. I'll wear those before I wear anything majorly Disney related. The only exception is, Star Wars stuff and Kingdom Hearts stuff. But that's it. That's the reason I like One Piece's villains more than Naruto's. No talk, no jutsu. Best villain still Bleach, Aizen for me. Bleach, one of the best villains I have. Yeah, Aizen has to be one of the best villains. And for me, I feel like Yhwach is actually a big threat as well. But I just think of his overarching personality and everything he does as well. Where have all the Mickey Mouse movies gone? The Mickey Mouse movies have made way for Disney live-action remakes. No one cares about Mickey Mouse anymore. Because remember the Mickey Mouse cartoons, like the recent ones, the really good ones? The really good ones? Yeah, we can have more of those, but let's keep making new live-action remakes. But let's not make movies based on the classic characters of Mickey Mouse and Company. Remember Mickey Mouse and the Mouseketeers? Remember that? Remember that? Remember House of Mouse on Disney Channel? Where Mickey Mouse would be, hosting these watch parties with all the whole entire watch parties with characters from Disney. Villains and heroes alike, watching all these old films, all these old classic Mickey Mouse cartoons and whatnot. We don't have that Disney anymore because they're not embracing their characters. They're embracing what potential profit margins they can bring. Not lasting appeal, but how much money they can bring in if we just shove them into different things. It's disappointing. Walt Disney would be turning in his grave because Disney has gone from when you wish upon a star to, okay, so we're going to need to put out a loan for you to stay at our hotel for 3 days, for you to enjoy basically instant access to rides, room service. And if you want to be able to do this more than once in a single day, then we're going to need you to add at least $50 per extra person in your party for you to really get the Disney experience. Also, welcome to Disney, where your dreams come true. Can't have watch parties like these kinds of movies. Oh no, not with these kinds of movies. They're not watch parties. They are roast sessions. They are roast sessions where we do nothing but just roast Disney live action movies all the way in. I miss Tom and Jerry and Bugs Bunny. I missed it when cartoons were just unapologetically violent. But they weren't violent to the point where they could affect kids like, idiots seem to think cartoons are nowadays. But they were violent enough where you could laugh at it, but not feel like you could replicate it because you knew it was dangerous. Now, for some reason, we gotta be careful with, we gotta feel like we gotta walk on pins and needles when we make cartoons now because we're scared of what the parents are going to say or what the kids are going to say. But we never had that conversation growing up with the Powerpuff Girls. Them girls beat everybody down. You saw blood, you saw gore, everything. And these little pint-sized kindergartners were just beating up monsters and aliens and demons and bad guys left and right. But we can't have that nowadays because that's violent. What? What? Like the phrase roast sessions? Oh, yes, that you can coin that roast sessions. If you're watching a movie and all you're doing is just making fun of it, that's a roast session. That's a roast session. You ain't watching a film, you're just picking it apart. But we need to get back to it.
It's okay, Disney, you can just cancel the film. We won't be mad if you admit to fee. Even Bob the Builder can't fix this. Disney achieved the closest thing to World Peace by releasing something we all collectively hate. I mean, why is there an earthquake here? It's Walt Disney rolling in his grave. Nobody has ever rooted for a poison apple until this movie go apple go.
Everyone is rooting for the evil... Everyone is rooting for the evil queen to win and for the apple to kill Snow White. I have never seen the internet in such a unanimous place of collective agreement since PETA tried to go after Steve Irwin. And the internet says, the internet said, don't you ever do that again. Everybody on the internet looked at PETA and said, yeah, you don't ever get to talk about animals or anything related to them. And you never get to direct that towards one of the greatest humans who had ever lived, Steve Irwin. No. This is one of the few times when the internet has said, you know what? We're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. We named it the Apple of Eden. Except, unlike the apple from Eden, this apple does not open your eyes to understanding. It will close her eyes to eternal rest, never to wake again. That's still messed up. That is still messed up. Because one person spoke out. And Disney folded. Disney folded with this film. The moment Peter Dinklage, who for all intents and purposes should not be the person everyone looks to for expertise on dwarfism and whatnot, I don't care if he was in Game of Thrones. His Game of Thrones time is over, okay? If people are still looking at Peter Dinklage as the go-to person for dwarfism and whatnot, despite with all the roles he's taken, he's not the only person who's an actual actor. He may be the most well-known one, but that doesn't mean you look at him as the expert in all things, dwarfism and being in movies. Because if it had not been for his big little mouth, all the people who could have had actual opportunities to be in this movie as an actual dwarf and us not be cursed in our memory and eyes by seeing these CGI monstrosities, they would actually have acting roles. Actual people with dwarfism would have acting roles. But they don't because Peter Dinklage thought he was helping. And what he did was just basically tell Disney, you know what? He's right. Let's not spend any money on getting people to actually play these roles so that we can actually have people there and not have to force Rachel Zegler to act around individuals who are not actually there. Let's have a person with dwarfism voice a person who's a dwarf but not actually be that role. You could have easily... I feel like that's an insult more than anything. We'll have a person with dwarfism voice an actual dwarf, but we won't have them play that dwarf. You might as well just have regular-sized people, tall people, voice these dwarves and just reduce their voices with, visual vocal effects and whatnot. I feel like with your guy, hold on, what's his name? Martin Kleba. I feel like with Martin Kleba, you're kind of doing his acting prowess a little bit of a bit of a disservice if you just downsize him to a voice acting role for something he could actually physically do. I'm just saying. But yeah, this is a movie that everyone is basically saying, you know what? I think we're good. Because I could go to the comments right now. My comment still, wow, 2 months ago. Let's see. Wow, Disney, you truly are incredible. It took you 3 years, multiple rewrites, unnecessary CGI, and $209 million just for me to enjoy a comment section of a movie I will never watch. Bless you. That is crazy. Comments! This comment has 102,000 likes. That's more than the people who actually like this trailer. I searched this trailer only to read comment section. Coming to a theater near you. For the first time in my life, I'm glad there are no theaters near me. Goodness. We gotta watch this because we gotta read through these comments because they are savage.
They made a movie nobody's going to pirate.
You know what? I feel like You know it's bad when people will look at your movie and say, like, you know what? I don't even want to pirate this movie to watch it. I don't want to see it, legally or illegally. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad when you got people that look at your movie and say, like, you know what? I don't feel like watching that. I don't feel like watching that at all. What? You feel like downloading it? Maybe grandma wants to have it burned to a disc. No. Tell her it's not all that good. Don't worry. Tell her not to worry about it. We'll just get her the original.
Did I frighten you? No Snow White and her 7 CGI did. Disney's next step is gonna be making Rapunzel fall. I can hear Walt Disney.
The scary thing is that Disney is making a live-action Rapunzel film. That's a bad thing. That's the crazy thing. They're going to make a live-action Rapunzel movie. Why? So, is it going to be a live-action remake of the 3D film Tangled? Yo, CJ, good to see you. Also, Brian, welcome. Welcome to the session. The dumpster fire that's coming soon. Yeah, y'all know I've been making shorts about it. How it's gonna just be absolutely terrible. But it's bad that that one commenter is talking about what next thing you know they're gonna make Rapunzel bald, but we're also getting a live action Rapunzel film, a live action Tangled movie. Not My Rapunzel? Yeah. Oh, you didn't know. Subject, you were not here when I went through the Disney live action. Matter of fact. Let me show you the list. Let me see. I think it's right here. Yeah. Here we go. So, here's what is in production. Snow White and the Seven Dwarves is on the way, unfortunately. So is Lilo and Stitch. We're getting a live-action Moana. God knows why. It's like Moana released, and now we're getting a live-action version, is akin to The Last of Us Part 2 releasing, and then we're getting a remastered version of that, which serves no purpose. So, still wondering why we're getting a live-action Moana. What can I say except we're dead, we're brain dead, we are out of ideas. Hey, it's okay to say we're brain dead. We're getting a live-action Robin Hood, which is based off of the, 3D movie with Robin Hood the Fox and everybody. Yeah, we're getting a live-action remake of that for some reason. Live-action remake of Sword in the Stone. Live-action Sword in the Stone. So, the Mad Madam Mim film ought to be the Mad Madam Mim song ought to be fun. Live-action Bambi. Already know. And then they're changing Bambi losing his mother in the live-action remake. As far as I've seen, they're changing that. Because we don't want to traumatize kids. So we're just going to change it. One of the most pivotal moments in all of Disney history. Not just movie, not just in the movie itself, but I mean one of the most life-altering moments in all of animated film history. They're changing that. Live-action Hercules. I don't know how live-action Hades is going to top what James Woods did for the original Hercules. So I don't know. Also, the song where Megara sings like, it's too cliche, I won't say I'm in love. Because you know how Disney's pushing the narrative like we don't need women to feel like they have to search for love or they're looking for it or anything. So I imagine that song is probably going to be removed. I imagine the sirens are probably going to be removed as well because they don't want it to feel stereotypical to have black women singing in a choir-like, gospel-like fashion. So we're going to have to change that as well. If they don't change it, half a point of -50. Then we're getting the Aristocats. You know that Chinese Siamese cat that they had in the original film? Probably more than likely going to be gone. And every feeling of nostalgia you felt for the Aristocats back in the days, that's probably going to be gone. Everybody wants to be a cat. Everybody wants to be a cat. Because the cat's the only cat who knows where it's at. I don't know if you can't do stuff like that anymore because it's going to be boring now. It's going to be formulaic. They're going to put their own spin on it and then it's not going to hit like the last version did. Okay, I don't mind the Sword and Stone as much depending on what and how they do it. Oh man, they're going to make my boy Maximus into a black horse. Why Hercules? I don't know. Michael Jordan PSA meme. Stop it. Get some help. And then lastly, we're getting a live-action remake of Tangled, which is unnecessary. Because one, we already got the Tangled movie, and two, we got the Tangled TV show, which goes farther than the movie, so what could you possibly add in live action to the Tangled movie and TV series that would make it seem like it's worthy of being made? I don't understand it. But those are the current remakes for Disney that they're currently doing right now. Remember them. Have them in the back of your head. Don't think of them often because it'll just make you upset. But just have it in the back of your head for on the occasion when Disney starts announcing more remakes. You got more people talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3 over Mufasa. Why? Because everyone loves Sonic. No one cares about Mufasa enough to be like, I want to see his origin story. I don't care how well it did, all right? People will talk more about Sonic the Hedgehog 3 than they will Mufasa because it's just like another Disney film. It's not an epic, and it's not like Disney is making epics anymore where you could just talk about it for weeks. Hey, have you seen the new Disney film? Oh yeah, I seen it. Wasn't it good? You don't have those conversations with anyone anymore. No one has those conversations anymore because Disney hasn't been on the top of its game since the late 2010s. Disney started falling off really hard once they saw how much money they could make from remakes. And I want to say that the Lion King remake itself, I feel like that was the okay for Disney to go like, we made $1 billion and something with this movie. We can do it again because it's making us money. Who cares about public opinion? Who cares if people don't care about Beyonce Knowles? I know I don't. I don't. I could care less about Beyonce because you slapping her name on a film doesn't make me want to watch a movie more. What does she have in acting chops that will make the film better? Or is she just there so she can sing? I don't care. But they saw how well Lion King did and thought, you know what? We made so much money, let's make another. The next flop fails and it's all like, we didn't really make as much as we would have liked. Let's do it again! And again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again! Just over and over and over again as if you're stuck on repeat. Remember that little button on the bottom of your DVD remote that it says A and B, and you hit it once and you marked A and you hit B and then it'll just repeat that section over and over and over again? I abused that feature when I had my old DVD player back in the day, and I would just repeat the same thing over and over until it just became like, it was funny at first, laughing at funny moments in movies and TV shows until I started hearing it more and more and it started to lose its funniness. It started to get repetitive. And then I was like, okay, I'm tired of this now. Now I'm just going to watch the rest of it. That is essentially what Disney is doing with its remakes. It's doing the same thing, the same process, the same ideology over and over. And people are excited for it at first. The same way you hit A and B repeat. It's funny at first. It's fun at first. But the moment you keep seeing it repeat itself from the beginning over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, then that feeling of fun and merriment and funny starts to die off, and you start to get tired of it until you release it and you just move on with the film. You move on with life. That is where Disney is with its live action remakes. And it's insane. Winter Soldier, again! 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 Just over and over and over again. There's a whole video where it's just the Winter Soldier just saying again, again and again for like, what, 5 minutes? It's crazy. Disney used to be so good. If, Tangled, don't you dare touch Tangled, Disney. Oh, they are. Oh, they are.
Disney's frozen head screaming in the Disney Vault. Mirror, mirror, hear Walt Disney's breath is gonna be making Rapunzel fall. I can hear Walt Disney's frozen head screaming in the Disney Vault.
Ain't that crazy how out of all the biggest myths in the world, them saying that they're keeping Walt Disney's entire body or his frozen head in the Disney vault has been one of the longest standing myths in history, that everyone just accepts that it's just a thing. Even people who acknowledge that it's not real are all like, just let them keep going. I remember hearing this thing about Disney head being inside the vault for years as a child, and it still persists even today.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the bitchiest of them all? Mirror, mirror on the wall, whose acting career is about to fall? Rachel Zegler is her name. This monstrosity will be her only fame. Show this to my friend before he skydived and he jumped out the plane with no parachute. That mirror.
If you show this to your friend and you're about to skydive and he jumps out without a parachute, he's already made his decision. He doesn't want to live in this world that has Snow White as a movie. Live action as a movie. He's just going to explain to God, sir, I know what I did, but I did not want to be stuck watching that film or living in the world where this film existed. Didn't know the Disney head was a thing. Here's the thing. I believe it's pretty much a myth. It's a made up myth. There's no proof that shows that Disney has been keeping the head of Walt Disney in a vault somewhere, like cryogenically frozen or anything like that. No, but it's just like, it's one of the strongest myths that have existed that people just continue to use it even to this day. Yeah, it's an old myth, but it's one that people have periodically brought up all the time. Periodically brought up throughout the years. So it basically stays alive through word of mouth. It's one of the oldest Disney myths that exists. That mirror is lying. Probably came from Temu. God, I understand, my son. I was about to say that, but I thought, like, you know what? Let's just leave it open-ended. Yes, I know I'm not naive. Yeah, I know.
Coming to a theater near you, move. The swarms look like they came from Chernobyl. This movie isn't releasing, it's escaping. This makes the B-movie look like a Vincent Van Gogh painting.
Now, the B-movie, that was a... Seems like it's false now because ain't no way this happened if he's still around. Exactly. Disney himself would not allow this random dumbness to actually happen to his properties and stuff that he was in charge of. I don't know why, but I would love to see someone like Keira Knightley in Snow White role. Her voice just sounds so polite in Pirates of the Caribbean. Look, Keira Knightley Keira Knightley and actually Keira Knightley would. I'm trying to picture Keira Knightley with like a short bob to look more like Snow White. Her voice is very, very polite. It is very. It's what you would call Britishly soothing. Like you hear her speaking and it's just smooth and it's like butter. And it just feels, you just feel calm and at peace. When I hear Keira Knightley's voice, it is the person of someone I wouldn't mind following into battle. Even when she just calmly says, hoist the colors, I'm like, yes, let's take out the East India Trading Company right now. But I hear Rachel Zegler say anything, and I'm just like, oh, you just sound and smell and look pretentious. That's a prevailing myth. It's probably older than me. It probably is, CJ. You're one of the older people that watches this channel. You're pretty much my oldest mod in terms of age, but it's probably older than you.
You Disney, you're the world's best at destroying childhood dreams.
They're not wrong. They're not wrong. How many films from like DreamWorks can you say, okay, you have now ruined my childhood perception of this film? You can't really say that about DreamWorks, but you can say that about Disney. Oh, we got these classic films. Awesome. We got these remakes. Okay, you watch the remakes. I prefer the original films. Disney is out here literally trying to make lightning strike twice with stuff from the 1930s and 1950s onwards, and they don't know how to do that. So in the process, they try to mess up what made the classics so great. And in the process, they ruin it. Keira just sounds like, yeah, if she's saying it, it must be right. Keira Knightley has this voice where if she says the sky is slightly green, you don't want to say, she has that voice where you don't say no because you don't want to upset that voice. You don't want to upset that voice at all. The Brett Cooper Snow White version is going to be so much better. Well, it can't be worse than this travesty. DreamWorks still goated except for the Kung Fu Panda milking. I've seen Kung Fu Panda 1, 2, and 3, but I have not seen 4. And I heard that if 4 was like, I heard it was like, Because the first 3 films, they had some very good villains. Like the first one had Tai Lung, and then the second one had, was it Lord Shen, and then the third one had Kai. All voiced by phenomenal people who actually had good motivations for being a villain. Tai Lung, he was, upset that he was imprisoned because he couldn't get that power that he wanted to be as a dragon warrior. The second one was Lord Shen, heard a prophecy and decided to eradicate pretty much all of Poe's people, except for the people who managed to get away. And then the third one is Kai is literally an interdimensional spiritual warrior looking to become even more powerful by basically taking down the dragon warrior and anyone else who got in his way. All of them were great villains. I don't know who this newer villain in Kung Fu Panda 4 is. This chameleon person, I don't know who she is. Also, people also have a problem with Kung Fu Panda 4 because Awkwafina is in it, and I don't know the whole thing about Awkwafina, so I can't really say about that, but yeah. You said Brett Cooper. But I don't know. And here's the thing. Snow White has had like a remake before. That was actually pretty good. I forget what her name is, but she played Lana Lang in the Smallville TV show. And she was Snow White in like a live action Snow White movie that also cast Miranda Richardson as the evil queen. And you had Clancy Brown in it. And you had all these different characters as well. And I feel like it was paying more. I feel like it was a better Snow White film than what this is going to be. I can't remember. I think. I need to look it up. Snow White 2001. There it is. This is it. This is it. Snow White, the fairest of them all. This is the film I remember. Kristen Kruk. Yeah, her. Kristen Kruk. This is her. This is the film from 2001. From 2001. I remember this movie so much. I have so many. Also, wait a minute. Disney already did. Wait a minute. Didn't do. Wait a minute. Wait. Mirror, mirror. Wait, mirror, mirror. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Mirror, mirror. 2012? Who did this film? Who did this film? This isn't. This Disney didn't do this one. Disney didn't do this one. Hold on. Which studio? 20th Century Fox? 20th Century Fox? What? So we had Snow White, Fairest of them all from 2001. Then we had Mirror, Mirror from 2012. We have all these different Snow White movies. Still good that they're making films like The Wild Robot, which are unique and fresh. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard it was a really good film. I may need to watch that myself. And Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is what I would describe as a 10 out of 10 animated film. That whole movie was entirely good. Its portrayal of its characters, especially Puss in Boots when he had a panic attack, and how well they portrayed that. Because you can get that wrong. They did that very well. The wolf as the big bad of the film, one of the most threatening DreamWorks villains I have ever seen. They did everything right with that film. Everything. The music, the dialogue, the pacing, the story, everything about Puss in Boots, The Last Wish was essentially phenomenal. And you mean to tell me that Disney can't reach that? That's a spin-off. That's a spin-off film from Shrek. And Disney can't get to that level? Disney? Can you imagine if DreamWorks did a live-action film with live-action Jack Black in a similar method that the Minecraft film used? I forgot that Minecraft was a thing. We need to continue with this, because we need to read comments from the Disney trailer.
Is Disney aware that Snow White is supposed to be more beautiful than the evil queen?
I don't think Disney knows. Snow White is supposed to be more beautiful and fairer than the queen. Don't come at me with like, oh, fair as in a just person. No, she's supposed to be beautiful. She's supposed to be beautiful. People are captivated by her beauty, but she never uses it because she's just a kind person. Rachel Zegler doesn't fit the bill. I'm not saying she's an ugly person, but looking at Gal Gadot and her right next to each other, the evil queen's supposed to be the fairest. Let's be honest. The mirror lying if he's saying that Snow White is the fairest of them all, but it's Gal Gadot in this situation. Don't forget the whistle. But DreamWorks will always try something new, like we got Dogman. Yeah, DreamWorks ain't scared to do new stuff. Disney thinks that the only thing they can do is just repeat the same stuff from 50 years ago and think it'll still hit like it did back in the day. Yeah, the hairstyle doesn't do her any favors. The hairstyle does not do her any favors. It's the type of hairstyle that you'll make fun of, not ones that you'll actually take seriously. Loved Captain Underpants. I haven't seen that, but I heard it. It's. We need to talk. We need to like lay some ground rules when it comes to filmmaking in an entire industry. When you are DreamWorks and when you're Disney, the thing that's going to be hello to you too, Supreme Dude. When you're going to be making all of these films and whatnot, what keeps people coming back? Not you making a film and then 10 or 15 years later, or maybe even 20 or 30 years later, you decide to remake that film. No, fresh ideas. Whatever happened to Disney being adventurous and daring with the films that they made? Whatever happened to being like, you know what, let's do something different this time. We don't need to keep making remakes. We're getting just as bad as Sony trying to put out more Last of Us. How are you going to have more remakes than the actual games in an entire series? That's dumb to me. Disney is putting itself in that situation. How are you going to have more remakes than actual new films that you're making? How are you making a live-action film of Moana when Moana hasn't been out long enough for it to warrant a remake at all? Disney's Snow White has been out for like almost 100 years. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me see. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. 1937. 1937. I want to say 10, 11, 12. I want to say 12 years from now, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs will be a 100-year-old film. It is almost a century old. But y'all can't come up with anything new? For me, it's animation. The overall art captivates me in animation movies. Disney movies are just, in my opinion, because they don't go out of boundaries. Nostalgic effect only carries you so far. Exactly. That's pre-World War II. This movie predates World War II. That's how old this film is. But I have to agree with Supreme Dude here. Hold on, let me put my mic here so you guys can just, say where we're at with Disney is that, and we've discussed this. We discussed this during my Disney live-action remakes and why there's too many of them and why Disney's focusing on them too much. We discussed how important hand-drawn animation is. There's some things I feel like with CGI, sure, you can get away with a lot of things, but it should never be a replacement for hand-drawn animation. See, this is the reason why people love anime. Another reason why people love anime is that people still go through the efforts of hand-drawing scenes. Has anyone seen Frieren at Journey's End? Or To Journey's End? I keep getting the subtitle wrong. Frieren. Beyond Journey's End. Okay, Beyond Journey's End. Frieren Beyond Journey's End is a fantastic example of just impeccable animation quality. Because all those movements you see, the subtle movements, everything you see, none of it is repeated animations. It is all unique animations every frame. You can count on anime to give you some anime that actually is consistent with their quality. Not just, and the thing that, and I'll keep bringing up Frieren as an example because it's an example of great pacing. The story is great. The music is absolutely god tier, and the animation is just chef's kiss. But you have Disney that looks at Disney at the stuff that they've done, and they just go, let's make it into a live action remake. But let's not keep the heart of what made the original so great. Let's cut some corners. Let's try and modernize the script. Let's not keep anything original because we don't want to offend anybody. Who are you going to offend? Like, who Who are you offending? If people are being offended by stuff you see from old Disney films from back in the day, I feel like so many people lack such a spine nowadays that they get bothered by anything that just, I don't like that. I don't like that. We don't want to offend those people. Disney listens way too much to the nasty side of social media rather than the people who are trying to give them, correct criticism and genuine opinions about what they're doing wrong, that they will satisfy the needs of those who cry out, I don't want this in my film, and will listen to them and create monster films that no one wants, and then look at their profit margins and wonder, where did we go wrong? Well, first of all, you looked at people on Twitter. I'm not calling it X. I told you guys already, I'm not calling it X, because calling it X is stupid, just like the person who bought the entire site. And I feel like Disney has lost its way on the creativity that they essentially pioneered. Disney has lost its heart. Sure, you'll see glimpses of it on occasion, but it's not every time. And it's a disappointment. Let's demean the original. If you have to demean the original, then your new one isn't a good film. If it needs to, and I feel like this mentality of demeaning the original lies in the same narrative of female characters in films being propped up to demean anyone who is not a woman in any way, because you see it a lot in films where men are treated as just like either jerks or complete and total idiots, and the main character, who may be a woman, will look at these men, and some of them are written in ways where they will deride the men, will make fun of them, will harass them, and we're just supposed to either accept it as it's fine, it's okay, because they're women, women have been oppressed, we've been hearing that for so many years, and I'm like, okay, you keep saying that as if you're still oppressed now, which is not the case. Stop bringing up stuff that has already been resolved many decades ago. So you're going to have to come up with a brand new excuse of why you think this is okay. So you get characters like that who look at characters like male characters, and they're written in a way where they're supposed to downplay the intelligence of men or make them, like I said, look like jerks. And it's supposed to be acceptable. Demeaning. And we're supposed to like the main character because they're telling it like it is, or being truthful, or the truth hurts, doesn't, or we're getting back at men because of how we were treated. And I'm like, you're not treated like that now, so why are we still on this boat? So when it comes to demeaning the original, it has that same mentality, you understand? In order to make ourselves look better, we need to make the original look worse. We need to get people who don't know how to act in front of cameras, in front of interviews, and seem to think if we downplay just how significant the original film is, Snow White in general, because we're going to remain on topic, we're almost done with this, then we're going to read some comments from the trailer. We need to have someone who knows how to conduct themselves on camera. Unfortunately, you got Rachel Zegler. So that has caused your personal and public opinion of your film to go straight down into the gutter. This person also resolves to saying that the original is outdated, and not even saying anything really good about the original film, just pointing out discrepancies and pointing out things that wouldn't be seen as socially acceptable, even though there wasn't really anything done socially in the game that would be seen as unacceptable. It was just, it's a fairy tale. Stop trying to put modern terminology and stop trying to put modern ideals in a fantasy, fictional story. In this world, true love's first kiss does help. In this world, true love will do anything they can to find you. May not be the case in your world because you can't find nobody, but all the same. What we have here is an industry, a film industry, that looks at We need to be as unproblematic as possible. We need to be as safe as possible, and yet at the same time appeal to literally no one in particular, but still expect the same level of love and appreciation that we got from previous films where we were adventurous. Disney thinks that they're still the same Disney that many of us grew up with, but they're not. They're far from it. They still think they are. But now they get films that lose them millions of dollars. Rather than gain them millions of dollars, they lose films. They suffer massive monetary losses, which is crazy. They used to not be like this. They used to be on fire. They used to be that guy in the GIF where he's just, using a giant wok and he's just making the rice on this giant stove. Cooking! They used to cook, but now they don't. Why? I like how Mulan animated was. It shows how a girl grew, overcoming the physical barriers. That's what I feel like what a strong female character should be like. And here's the thing. You look at the original film of Mulan, and it's not a girly movie. It's not. It may seem like it starts out that way because she's trying to, become viewed as acceptable so that way she can get married in order to honor her family. But, things don't pan out that way. And, she gets upset that things didn't really pan out that way, and she kind of brought shame to her family. But the moment she finds out her father is being asked to join in a war, and this film goes out of its way to show you that the father, he himself is unwell and he's unfit for duty, she goes like, okay, I'm going to take my father's place. I'm going to take my father's place, and I'm going to fight in his stead. This may get me killed because a woman in the army is not accepted during this time in China, and it could very well get me killed. But she goes out of her way. She makes friends. She saves the life of Shang. She pretty much kills all but a few of the Han army that comes to basically wipe out everyone in China. And even after being found out as a woman, she still goes out of her way to save the very nation that looks at her as if she's lesser than a soldier. Also overcoming the physical barriers that most men were already struggling with in the entire film. This is how you create, and like you said, this is how you create a strong female character. She doesn't go out of her way to look at the men that she's with and downplay their capabilities, make fun of them in any way, or look at them as if she's above them and they're beneath her in any way. She understands her own limitations. She fights alongside them. She treats them as equals. There's no need for any sort of disrespect between Mulan and the men that she's with. There's no need for that because it's unnecessary. The moment you start disrespecting people for no reason except to make yourself look better, you're not a good character. You're not a good character. When it comes to supposedly problematic characters, I've never thought that the Mandarin was a negative stereotype, especially in most modern depictions. 86 now. Yeah. A strong character like Mulan from the animated films is what Mulan in the live-action film should have been. But no, instead they created a Mulan who was good at everything, had no faults, could fail and still be accepted with no consequences for her actions that could, get people hurt or anything like that. She's stronger than everybody else, and everyone else has to just straight up deal with it, and everyone is either dumber, weaker, or just slower in comparison. That's not a good character, because you're not encouraging girls to, overcome your own limitations, or maybe even find a workaround for your own limitations that can allow you to keep up with people who could possibly be physically more capable than you. That's what a smart character would do. But no, we get characters nowadays, and I hope you guys don't mind, we get characters nowadays where they really want to push the narrative that you are good at everything, everyone will accept you for who you are, and you can just do this and do that and whatever, you can do whatever without consequence, and because you're just that good of a person, because people love you, You can just do whatever and it'll just be fine. No, the world doesn't work that way. Stop portraying characters as if they have no faults, and if they make mistakes, then everything will just blow over and they can continue on like normal. No. A good character will have faults, will make mistakes, will learn to live with consequences. Sometimes these consequences deal with people no longer being in their lives, either dead or gone, or they just left. And then also dealing with the fact that you may never be as strong as you would like to be, but there are workarounds. A strong character learns how to maneuver around their own limitations, both physically and emotionally and mentally. And that's how you make a character that can inspire others outside of the film. These are characters that you can make that can inspire children at a young age. Oh, that guy, he was weak at first, and even though he never got stronger by the end, he was still able to find workarounds that allowed him to keep up with some of the strongest people on his team. He never gave up. He wasn't disrespectful. He wasn't mean. Even when he was being made fun of, he still kept going, never let anyone deride his own dreams of being stronger. And he also made friends along the way that understood what he was going through and may have made fun of him at first, but also saw his resolve. I want to be like that character. No, don't make characters that are just like perfect in every way, because with perfection, there are no flaws that one could gauge their own capabilities with. You make a perfect character, you make a character that's bland. You make a character that has nothing for anyone to aspire to. No little rung that you can get to. You're from US, right? If you remember correctly, how's the situation? Let me see. In LA, has it gotten better? Like the LA fires? I don't know. I haven't checked on that lately. From January 7th to the 31st. I think, wow, they actually have a whole entire article. Yeah, a whole entire article of this. Okay, so most of the damage was from the two largest fires, the Palisades Fire and Pacific Palisades, and the Eton Fire and Altadena, both of which were fully contained on January 31st. The wildfires were also extinguished by tactical aircraft alongside ground firefighting teams, of which the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, CAL FIRE, use. Though their deaths and damage to property made them likely the third and second most destructive fires in California history, respectively. Other wildfires, including the Palisades Fire and the Eton Fire, had burned over 57,000 acres of land in total. So, yeah, the fires are done. It just took pretty much almost an entire month for it. 24 days. 24 days. That's longer than the flames of Amaterasu would burn for in Naruto. It's like 7 days and nights was as long as those fires would go on for. But, yeah, for almost just 1 full week short of an entire month of nothing but fire in California. So yeah, it's over, but people lost a lot, and some people lost people as well. That was a whole month of just fire and fear. So my heart goes out to everyone affected by that. Even though we're on the 7th day, pretty much a month after. Pretty much a month after we've reached a month since the fire started. It's actually since it started on the 7th of January. Today is now the 7th of February. It's actually been a month. It's been a month. So yeah, but going back to Disney, We've reached a point, we really are at a point where Disney doesn't know how to make films where I could show it to people and you can at least get inspired, earnestly about it. We get films now and you look at it and it's either it's all going to be good or it's all going to be bad. There's no in between. If all the conspiracy around it is somewhat true, I just feel sad for the people. They just lost almost everything. Yeah, over thousands of homes just gone. 200,000 people had to evacuate. 200,000 people. The Iron Man cartoons and comics never really leaned on Mandarin being any real Asian stereotype. See, my thing is, when they did the Mandarin, they only did it based off the way I remember the Mandarin from the old Marvel comics is essentially just the way he dressed and the way his hair was done. He had like long hair, long beard, and dressed it in, your Chinese clothing. That was it. He didn't speak in like a broken Chinese accent, as a caricature that you would see in old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. No, that's just his physical appearance, but he did not behave. He did not behave in a stereotypical way that would be seen as problematic. So it begs the question: what's wrong with Disney? Are they scared? But this is supposed to be us reacting to the comments. So let's finish this up here because we're almost done.
It's Hollywood, baby.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. No one's gonna watch this movie at all.
Weird.
That's not true. That's not true. People will watch this film. People will watch this film. Some families who have nothing better to do and have not been keeping up with news, they will watch it. A very small group of people, probably a couple thousand, maybe 100,000 or so, they'll probably watch this film with incredible intent just to watch it because they want to, they're happy to watch it. But the vast majority of the people, they're either not going to watch it, they're either going to pirate it, or some people, like movie reviewers, are going to watch this film just to talk about how bad it will be. It's not a matter of if it will be bad, it will be. It will be. And the moment you see any reviews saying like this movie is a testament, like a worthy remake to the original, they got either paid off or they lying. Because at a point now, we're seeing reviews from people, and we know that something is about to be bad, but people put a review out. People will put a review out, and it's like they give it props. They don't say anything bad about it. They don't dismiss it in any way, and you just wonder, did they get bought out? Did they sell out for this film? Or are they lying? Because there's no way that this is actually good. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get some reviews where it says like Snow White is a true live action remake worthy of the original. And I'm thinking, no. I'm saying this as a person who's never going to watch it. It's coming out in March. How dare you? How dare you sully my birthday month with your stink? How dare you? I'm being silly at this point, but
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Just how far will Disney fall?
Weird.
Disney will continue to dig this hole for themselves until they realize that this method of making movies like this won't work. But they're not going to have that. They're not going to do that because they think that what they're doing with all of their IPs, all of their franchises, is actually working. And it doesn't. It doesn't work. But they're going to continue because they think it will. So now let's move on to the comments. So let's see. Coming to a theater near you for the first time in my life. I'm glad there is no theaters near me. Thank you. Yeah, she said weird, like it's weird that the prince was, looking for Snow White. And I'm like, you obviously did not see the film if you think him trying to find her, someone with such a immaculate beauty and an absolutely flawless voice, because that's what drawed him to her, her beauty and voice. And finding out that she was gone, he was all like, no, I got to find her. I got to find her wherever she is. I need to find her. It's not weird. Think you should find it endearing if a man is trying to get to know you because he finds you not only beautiful, well, not necessarily just because you're beautiful, the personality and character should really be the big thing he's looking for, but also because your voice is so enticing that he's all like, I need to know who this person is. Your voice is gorgeous. So, it's not weird. But let's see. This trailer saved my, let's see, thank you Disney for spending $209 million to give us a great comment section. This trailer saved my dad. He has been in a coma for 8 months, and when I played this trailer, he woke up and got out of bed to turn it off. Thank you, Disney. Mirror, mirror on the wall. When did Lord Farquaad get, Mirror, mirror on the wall. When did Lord Farquaad get so tall? The United States military should use this movie as an interrogation tool. Audible waterboarding. Mirror, 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 mirror on the wall. Just how far will Disney fall? Mirror, mirror on the wall. The poison apple shall save us all. This film is not yet rated. They should make it N for nobody. Only reason I knew this trailer was out was when I saw Chat Music make a song out of it. 40,000 Disney employees were forced to like this video. Even the evil queen wouldn't waste a poison apple on this. Ooh! Let's see, for people who don't use the extension currently until the 2nd of the... Okay, this was 8 days ago. 1 million dislikes. 96% don't like this. Let's see. Stop the video at 0.00. Enjoy the comment section. That's exactly what I did. I stopped it at exactly the start. The comment section is far more entertaining than this trailer. Let's see. The only snow that's white here is the one Disney's executives keep snorting, because you gotta be in order to think that this is gonna be fine. People watching other trailers. So hyped for the upcoming film. People watching a Snow White trailer. Pause video ASAP, press dislike, head down to the comments. Disney started with Snow White and apparently is ending with Snow White. Ain't that crazy? This is Disney's very first film. This is a remake of Disney's very first film, and the latest film in your lineup is a remake that no one likes of your very first film. This is how you want to honor the first film, by making this CGI monstrosity? What is wrong with you? Let's see, the names of the dwarves. I'll give Disney some credit. They are brave enough to leave the comment section open. They really are. They really are. The names of the 7 dwarves are pixelated, blurry, glitchy, badly rendered, fakey, unpolished, and unconvincing. Disney, we are a diverse and inclusive company. Also Disney, we don't hire dwarves. We are a diverse and inclusive company. But not too long ago, someone secretly filmed an employee saying like Disney doesn't hire white males as employees for their company. If it's a white dude, then we don't hire him. But we're a diverse and inclusive company. But we specifically single out white dudes that we don't want in our company at all. But we're diverse and inclusive. But we single out people based on their skin tone, whether or not we want to actually add them to our ranks. Yeah, this is the Disney this is the company that they still want you to love. See, that's the thing that is so hilarious to me. Is just how much people will just lie to your face. Companies like this that will lie to your face, then as soon as someone exposes them, they act like we didn't say that. As a movie theater employee, I can confirm I will lose my job from this movie. They finally did it. They made a movie nobody is going to pirate. Let's see. For people who don't use the extension, yada yada. Disney thought they were cooking and never turned the stove on. Ooh! Ah! Rachel Zegler. Snow White is not going to be saved by the prince. The prince, good, because I'm here for your stepmother. Woo! Okay. Yee! Evil Queen to Mirror. Describe Snow White to me. Mirror. Weird. Weird. Came here just to read the comments, was not disappointed. The audacity of Disney to leave the comments open frightens me. Disney, coming to a theater near you. Is that a threat? Canceled YouTube Premium so I can enjoy the ads. Edit, I appreciate your positive feedback. Someone in this comment section said Rachel Zegler looks like Lord Farquaad, and now I can't unsee it. Neither can you. None of you can unsee it. I don't know what's funnier, the fact that YouTube's most disliked video was made by YouTube itself, or the fact that this trailer could beat it. What was YouTube's most disliked video? Which was most disliked video? Most disliked YouTube videos, YouTube Rewind 2018. 2018. Did you like Inside Out and its sequel? I never watched Inside Out or its sequel. I never watched it. Let's see. YouTube Rewind. All right, because this is the one with Will Smith. That's hot. That's hot. 20 million dislikes. Oh. So this is currently the most disliked video of all time on YouTube. And this is YouTube's very own video of 2018. YouTube Rewind, reason why YouTube disabled dislikes. But an extension allows you to see the truth. Inside Out is really good. I'll watch it later. I got a list of things that I need to catch up on and watch. Anime and movies as well. Still need to watch through the rest of Secret Level. Secret Level, episode 5 with Warhammer 40k. Oh my goodness. It was so good. It was unbelievably good. It was gorgeous. Let's see. We thankfully have the technology nowadays to make the animation look worse than the original from 1937. How do you do that? How do you make a movie look less appealing than a movie from the 1930s? From the late 1930s. How do you do that? Gal Gadot being jealous of Rachel Zegler's looks and complexion is like living in a mansion and envying the homeless. This casting is horrendous. It really is. It really is. If it was an evil queen that was, like passable in beauty, then I'd understand. But Gal Gadot is gorgeous. And her caring about, Rachel Zegler's look and everything, I really don't think this is the way to go. Let's see, nobody has ever rooted for a poison apple until this movie. Go Apple Go. Yeah, some of these comments we've heard as a song. Oh man, I feel bad for the dwarves even though they're not real. That's bad. If you feel bad for the dwarves and they don't even exist, they're just CGI. That's bad. Kyushu, do grab some tissues when you do watch Inside Out. I don't be crying during movies, so I don't need to worry about that. Gal Gadot, Magic Mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all? You are, Your Majesty. Cut to credits. That's how you just stop this movie. Just have Magic Mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? You are, Your Majesty. And then just have the credits of Snow White play. I honestly think that, I'm calling it now. As soon as Snow White comes out and someone gets the credits, someone is going to make a video of Gal Gadot going up to the mirror saying, "You are, Your Majesty," and it just cuts to credits. I know it. I don't know if they made it already, but someone's going to make that video, and that's probably going to get a lot more appreciation and views than this trailer and the movie itself. What else we got? Making the dwarfs look like a PS1 Hagrid was a bold choice. So Disney started their careers with Snow White, and it looks like they will end it with Snow White. Coming to theaters near you. Please don't do it. I have a family. Mirror, mirror on my screen. Can this trailer be unseen? Can I now feel offended as a German? Treating our folklore with such disrespect and greed is honestly hideous. Right, because this is German folklore, isn't it? When this movie comes out, the poison apple will be the #1 product. The comment section is the only reason 8 million people came to this trailer. I paid nothing to watch this trailer, but I already want my money back. Let's see. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Lord Farquaad. Every character but Snow Brown loads their Glock. Everyone in unison, say psych right now. Mirror, I was kidding! I was kidding! I bet the original Snow White would do better in the box office today than the live action. I bet you anything. That's probably the reason why Disney hasn't tried to re-release the original Snow White. If they said, like, re-releasing the original Snow White trailer, it would be far better received than this trailer. Because they've done it before. Let's re-air the Lion King animated film in theaters again. Do the same for Snow White, and watch how you get a much better reception. Watch! Watch! I'm sorry to the GPUs that were needed to render this stuff, man. If we ever get the information of how much time and data was used to create the dwarves in Snow White, you want to know something? Whatever happened to behind the scenes of how things got made? Have you seen any live action behind the scenes footage for any of the recent remakes? Remember how you used to be you would look at the behind the scenes of different Disney films and be like, wow, they put a lot of work into this. Like, for example, Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one with Curse of the Black Pearl. And they showed you everything they did in order to create the undead members of the Black Pearl. Then you see the behind the scenes of how they did Dead Man's Chest and how they did all the people, all of the crewmen of the Flying Dutchman, and even Bill Nighy as Davy Jones, and the amount of effort that went into making basically one of the best looking CGI characters in existence, alongside, Gollum and, Kong from King Kong, Peter Jackson's King Kong. Davy Jones is one of the best iterations of like a really well done 3D character. They were behind the scenes of Sonic 3. I mean, like Disney live action remakes specifically, where you could actually look at everything they went through in order to get this movie to look like it does, and you can understand and go and have an appreciation for it. I don't mean like Disney. I don't mean like films in general, where it could show you behind the scenes, just films in general. I mean Disney stuff, like all the efforts that they went to in order to make this character fit into this scene and stuff like that. Because I love behind the scenes stuff. I love learning about that. But do you see that in live action remakes now for Disney? How did they? Because the last time I saw it was them talking about how they achieved the photorealism of the Lion King CGI remake, and that was it. It's not a live-action remake if nothing is actually on site. It is literally just a complete CGI photorealistic movie. And also Favreau saying stuff like, we went through the extra effort to make it like you were really there in Africa, but you're not. It's not even on a sound stage. It is literally just CGI through and through. Sonic 3 was Chef's Kiss. Oh no, it was a great film. Great film. I loved Sonic 3. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Was Mufasa good though? I don't know. I didn't watch it. I told y'all I don't be watching these Disney live action remakes. Matter of fact, let's look up Mufasa. Mufasa. Let us see. 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb. 58% on Rotten Tomatoes. Box office, $654 million. Let me pull up Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. 7 out of 10 on IMDb. 86% in Rotten Tomatoes. $463.2 million. But it's still the better film. Look at reviews. Okay. Okay, let me see. Let's see. We got a whole bunch that say 5 and some that say 1. Hold on, let me be careful. Let me be careful what I click on. Hold on, let me check something. Let me be careful what I click on so it doesn't, ask for information and different stuff. And it just displays it on screen because I want to be sure. All right, we're good. We're good now. Let's see. This was on January 15th. The script is safe and unoriginal. The voice talent is passable. And while the scenes of the creatures racing through fields and prancing through canyons are fine, the drama peaks in the water bodies and on snow-capped mountains. Barry Jenkins took this behemoth and it didn't entirely defeat him. Let's see. Young audiences will have fun following the likable characters in their perilous adventures. Please, please stop making entire sequels, prequels, remakes, and reboots to address things that only YouTube video essayists ever sort of cared about a decade ago. A welcoming tribute to Disney's very own animation roots, now with digitally generated photorealistic images. If someone of Jenkins' pedigree can't, with all this budgetary power behind them, best some poster on Elon Musk's typing lions fight on mountaintop epic into Sora, then Hollywood is truly cooked. Great movie. Loved the story of Mufasa. Loved it. The show was beautifully written. BD, the graphics look amazing. Storyline was great. Cinematography was amazing. Movie was just okay. I almost fell asleep half through, and this was the first time I've been disappointed with the Lin-Manuel soundtrack. Yeah. It's a subpar prequel flick with rushed, generic, and forgettable storytelling that's not a worthy entry to the Lion King series. Decent ride, and while it lacks the gripping song list you want to sing along after the story is done. It's Meanwhile, you can get so many people that just talk about how much they love Sonic. Such a good movie. I'm happy when I talk about Sonic. I'm happy when I'm talking about Sonic. But talking about Lion King and Disney stuff, it makes me sad. Not literally, but it's sad. It's definitely sad. Now, here's another thing that needs to be addressed. And I'm kind of diverging from talking about Snow White stuff because I'm just done with it. Once I'm done looking at the Snow White stuff, I'm done with Snow White as in general. I don't care. But I will look forward to people roasting it when the movie comes out in March. I do intend to look forward to that. Another thing that needs to be addressed is EA. EA games. I know we talked about games earlier on, and we kind of diverged off of talking about movies. But one thing that has propped up is the lunacy of the CEO of EA saying that the reason why Dragon Age Veilguard failed is because had they incorporated some live service elements into it, players would have liked it more. Insinuating that the reason why Dragon Age Veilguard failed is because it wasn't, it didn't have live service stuff in it. Which, if anyone with common sense has paid attention to literally anything of the past couple of games that have come out that have been live service, from Concord to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League to basically any other live service game that has dropped lately, they would know that people do not find it appealing. Something is just laying on the front of my pupil right now. It's odd. People do not find these appealing whatsoever. Meanwhile, Kingdom Come Deliverance, which has just released recently, has already sold 1 million copies in one day. Random question, have I seen Sister Leveling? I have not seen Sister Leveling. I'll watch it once I get done here. I'll watch it on my own time, though. I don't know if people want to see me react to that or anything, but I'll watch it on my own. But, you know, I understand. For one, my position on live service games as a whole is, if it's done right, then keep going with it. Like, Warframe is a good example of a live service that keeps going and it keeps building and it keeps getting better and better. It's a good example. But seeing live service as the end-all, beat-all thing that you need to go after, simply because, I'm going to be honest with you, we all know the reason why they keep going after live service for games. Because they see the potential that games like Genshin and Wuthering Waves and Honkai Star Rail and all these other live service gachas are bringing in and raking in millions. They think, if we just make a whole bunch of live service games, you won't see Solo Leveling the same way again. Watch it at your own risk. I don't know. I saw Sword Art Online abridged and Hellsing Ultimate abridged, and I can still appreciate the original. So, challenge accepted. But live service as a whole is not inherently bad. It's just how it's done. But most of the time, the live action for games like for games that are done here in the US, a lot of the time it's not done correctly. And they wind up bringing a game down to the point where, in some cases, it'll just completely shut down an entire studio. So, you know, we are still in a situation where people still think that live action is the way to go. And you know, the funny thing is, people will, a lot of high-end people, CEOs and whatnot, will say, like, there's nothing wrong with live service. Do I keep saying live action? Live service games, they're actually quite successful, and we want to keep making more of them. And yet, single-player games will release around the time of these comments and show you just how much money those games can rake in easily without a single live service element in there. And then the CEOs that said, like, live service is okay will still keep going as if they didn't just witness what we all want. I love playing multiplayer games. I love it. I do. I like playing with friends. I like playing with Gagio, whether it's us playing on Warframe or Space Marine 2 or even Power Rangers. I still need to get Power Rangers Rita Rewind. I still need to get that. But games like that, I'm okay with. But I absolutely adore single-player games. Because at least I know there's going to be a complete package, especially if it's done correctly. At least I know there's going to be a complete package. It's when they try to do single-player games but include elements of live service in it that really has no place to be in it, that I kind of wonder, okay, so you're trying to milk this game rather than complete a current game. Then give us a full-on current game. Biggest example would be Ubisoft and their Assassin's Creed Shadows right now, which, oddly enough, they delayed all the way into March because they wanted to improve, you know, like the graphics and performance and everything. And then you see people playing the recent builds of the game, and it doesn't look like it's finished. Matter of fact, let's look that up. I know we're looking at funniest Snow White trailer comments, but this is something that needs to be addressed about games that will include those live service elements, because Assassin's Creed Shadows will include it because you need an internet connection to install the game. Not to update it, to just flat out install it. Which means that you can't play this game offline, which a lot of games with with common sense, you can already do right now. But you need your game to be you need to have an online connection in order for you to play it. Let's see, it's not looking good. After 4 hours, early Shadows, early review. Gonna go now. It's past midnight here. Bye. Have a nice stream. You too, Destruct. You have a wonderful night as well. Sorry if I kept you up for too long with my ramblings. But let's see. I played 10 hours of Assassin's Creed Shadows and have some feedback. Assassin's Creed Shadows, these things could be an issue. And the thing is, Joraptor plays pretty much every single Assassin's Creed.
10 hours of Assassin's Creed Shadows if we combine the play session at Ubisoft Quebec and the stream I did. And while I really enjoyed my time with the game, the things I want to go over here in this video did hurt the fun a bit and can, I think, realistically be fixed. So next to melee combat, Yasuke also has ranged options, and just like in Odyssey, there are multiple arrow types and now also bullet types for you to select with the Teppo rifle that you unlock by spending skills in the dedicated skill tree. But as you can
Okay, so many of y'all know my weakness to skill trees in video games. Many of you know this. I feel nothing when I see this because I'm just tired of the Assassin's Creed franchise as a whole. When you got me so tired of your games that not even your skill trees can entice me, you have fundamentally failed. I'm more interested in the skill tree from the first Berserker Kazan than I am anything related to Assassin's Creed Shadows. I don't feel like running through another Assassin's Creed map where it's just going to be filled with icons and everything all over the map again, and then it's I don't know. I don't want to go through that again. I can't do it. I can't do it again.
can already see in the menu, all these icons look very similar, especially for the bullets, as they are just balls with different glowing effects. But it's even worse during combat, because all these bullet icons look even more similar now, while they do something completely different, and there's no way of telling which one you're using, only by shooting and wasting bullets. Same.
Okay, so here's my opinion already immediately from just the display of the UI. If you are showing these objects with different colors, and you want players to be able to tell which does what, putting the ammunition for Yasuke's rifle in a directional UI button prompt, but it's all white scale, where it's just all white, and the only way you can tell which one you have equipped is if it turns from a black background with a white ball to a white background with a black ball. From glance, you're just like, I need to really pay attention to which one does what, because one is a hollow point, one does explosive, one does daze. But can you really tell by just looking at the... Matter of fact, can you tell which does what right off the bat? Like, you switch over to the one you intend to use. Can you really honestly tell which does what? Just right off the bat. I feel like there's nothing wrong if you made it so that the UI would show the exact image of the ammunition itself in that little quick wheel for you to be able to tell which one you actually want to use. Because I imagine some people will select the wrong one and be like, no, I didn't want to choose that one, simply because the UI is just... I wouldn't say too simplistic, but I feel with this, sometimes more is more, not less is more. It just feels a bit flat.
Completely different, and there's no way of telling which one you're using, only by shooting and wasting bullets. Same is the case for the arrows, by the way. While in Odyssey they gave these arrows very distinct colors and looks, so I really hope they improve that for Shadows before launch as well. Give them a color based on the element they have, or add like a text, something in the UI that tells me, okay, I'm now using this type of projectile. What I overall like in Shadows is how the world feels a bit more alive compared to previous games, and you also see this when you are wanted, because then every potential enemy will be looking for you and attack you on sight, not to mention the special guardians that will spawn and can also appear on roads when you try to escape and will then shoot at you. It's a really cool system, but the problem is that this wanted status only appears after an enemy rings a bell, and so far these alarm bells have only been in dedicated enemy camps or castles. So this means that if you go on a killing spree on the street without a bell close by, you will not get the wanted status. so can after that just easily continue with your journey without consequences. While in Odyssey or Mirage, every illegal thing you did on the street would cause your wanted level to go up, and then the mercenaries would appear, or the hunter in Mirage, which was way more realistic. In Shadows, the Guardians won't spawn if you create mayhem on the street if there's no alarm bell close by, so I hope they make the wanted system separate from the alarm bell. Now, as you might know, only the character who raised the alarm...
So if he say, oh, wait a minute. So this presents a problem. If he's saying that you won't get a wanted level, Gagio, bro, that's what I'm saying. If he's saying that you won't get a wanted level if there's no bell for someone to ring in a stronghold that is nearby, if you go through every stronghold in the map and eliminate all the bells, does that mean you just eliminate the probability of you ever getting wanted and thus eliminating that a whole mechanic? Hello? Something that y'all already had going in Odyssey, y'all decided to really dumb it down? It's linked to a bell and a stronghold. And if you conquer these strongholds and disable them, you just don't get no wanted levels no more? It looks so stale. I know it does. It doesn't look any different than it did from Odyssey. It doesn't look any different than it did from Valhalla. It just looks like the same old stuff. And I feel like Origins really put us on a path where now we have enemy levels and enemy scaling, which really wasn't a thing from original Assassin's Creed. You upgraded your gear, your enemies did not upgrade with you. They didn't scale with your level. It was your gear that you just got stronger, and you just increased your health, and you also learned how to parry. Yeah, this is not it. I know it's not. That's not a good thing. You have a whole wanted system for your game, but it only works in certain areas. Otherwise, you can just kill with reckless abandon and never have to worry about interacting with that mechanic whatsoever. And if these bells are limited to strongholds that you could then wipe out and conquer, then you're essentially eliminating an entire mechanic from the game forthwith. It's just gone.
System separate from the alarm bell. Now, as you might know, only the character who raised the alarm will have the wanted status. Switching to the other character will mean that the Guardians are still in the world, but won't attack you anymore, just like other enemies.
So not only that, but you have an easy get out of jail free card. You cause trouble with Naoe in a town, you raise an alarm then. You immediately switch to Yasuke, and it's like nothing ever happened.
You can then still attack them yourself if you want a nice standoff, but can also easily ignore them. Now, this dual protagonist system also comes with some new issues, and some of them I think can be easily addressed. So while playing Naoe, you can find weapons or gear for Yasuke and the other way around. But since both characters use a katana, when you loot one, it's very unclear who the weapon is for. Look, this is a comparison between a Yasuke icon for a katana on the left and a Naoe katana on the right. The same is, by the way, for the new accessory. The icon looks very similar. So it would be nice if there...
Why not just make them look different? No, not just the drawing, but why not just give them two different types of accessories? One that is akin to Yasuke's getup, and one that's akin to Naoe. Why make them both wooden talismans that you could easily confuse from either character? Why make them look so similar?
There's like a Naoe or Yasuke indication on the loot to highlight, yo, this is a piece of equipment for that character. Because now I would often go into the inventory to check my new gear, only to figure out that it was not for the character I was currently playing. A Naoe icon would also go a long way for something else. And real quick, as you might know, I'm doing a giveaway for 3 copies of Shadows. Simply like the video, be a subscriber, and they can enter via the special link in the pinned comment. Ubisoft said that almost all the content can be done with the link in the pinned comment.
Did he smash that person's head and the head rolled through his body down the street? When, if you're crushing a person's head like that, you should be crushing their head directly into the ground. Their head should not be dislocating from their bodies like a person whose head gets dislocated in Fallout. That happens to people's heads in Fallout when you decapitate them. Their heads just fall off and they roll down the street. Rolling down the street. That's what happens in Fallout. You realize how old Fallout games are? If you're crushing the head should be splattering across the ground, not rolling through the body. Hold on, look. Watch.
It's sad that
Watch.
almost all the content can be
He crushed the head. The head immediately goes sliding from his mallet down the road instead of just being, straight up obliterated. He's crushing the head. He's not hitting the head hard enough for it to roll off the person's body. He's crushing it. Do you know what crushing entails? It involves high amounts of pressure to the point where the object that is being crushed suddenly changes shape from being crushed. It doesn't just roll off in another direction unless you're looking at a hydraulic press and the object is very spherical, very smooth, and it slips out because of the pressure. It's not the case here. Heads don't work that way.
By the special link in the pinned comment. Ubisoft said that almost all the content can be done with either Naue or Yasuke, so I was really surprised to find out that 2 of the 6 locations I could try could not be completed with Yasuke. Like, no idea of course how this will be in the final game, but I do think it would be nice if Ubisoft would let us know beforehand that Yasuke cannot get all the collectibles in this location, so basically not complete it to get the rewards. Now they do have this line Yasuke says when he cannot reach the top of a few points, but also here it would be much nicer if I would open up the world map and see an exclusive Naue icon next to the viewpoint. That way you know before you run around and try to reach things.
That makes sense. That makes sense. If an area can only be reached by a character, have an icon next to that area so you know what person to bring there instead of taking a character that cannot traverse there and you find out once you get there and attempt it like, oh, I guess I can't climb this. Well, I gotta switch to Naue and try it again myself. That's seconds. Seconds of time that you could avoid wasting. That is something that is so easy to do. Just have an icon next to it. Unless they didn't think of that and just thought like, well, players will just have to learn that, if Yasuke can't climb this building, so they'll probably have to get in Naue, and you're going to have to do that for every single location. It's going to be trial and error for every single location you get to and finding out whether or not Yasuke can climb to the top in an area or if you need Naue. It's going to be that for every area unless they have a way of saying like, hey, Naue's best here. Relying on Yasuke to say like, hey, Naue would be able to do this. That can get tiresome hearing that all the time.
With Yasuke that you should not be wasting your time. Now both characters of course have their own unique abilities, but a massive change compared to Odyssey and Valhalla is that you now can equip 2 abilities that are linked to your weapon and only 1 so-called character ability. But what I found is that some abilities are clearly way better than others. Like Yasuke has an ability that basically makes him unkillable for 20 seconds, as all the attacks from enemies will only interrupt him but not deal any damage. So this one is clearly OP, especially when fighting multiple enemies, but this now means that there will not be a reason for me to switch that ability out for the very fun kick, because that means that I won't have this invincibility skill anymore. Yasuke also has this sort of battle cry that I wasn't really impressed with at all, so there's no reason to use it. I really hope they add a second character ability slot for both Yasuke and Naue, because then the other abilities still have some use, and the crazy part is that there is still room for it. Like there's nothing in the circle or B spot right now, so unless they have like a special skill tree that unlocks later on in the game, I don't see a reason why they would not populate that with an extra character skill. I at least hope they do. So you can very easily remove your hideout buildings and other things you placed, and then you will get your resources back. Totally check our dedicated settlement video with a ton of info and new gameplay on this very impressive feature. If you haven't watched it yet, I will leave a link to it at the end of this one. But a thing I think many people will be asking for after launch is a way to save the base you have created, because right now if you spend a lot of time building a cool hideout but want to try something new, you will lose the base you currently have, so are less enticed to try new things.
So you have base building, but you don't have a way of saving that configuration just in case you want to try something different? You got to start all the way over from scratch? I know this isn't like a normal thing, but if I'm building like a whole base, but I want to try out like a whole brand new layout without having to go back and delete everything one by one. There's no loadouts for, save slots or configurations for a base. Like, say if I want to have it pattern this way one day or pattern that way one day, there's no way to do that. It's just normal. Like I said, this isn't normally something that one would find for building places unless you were playing Sims or the like. But I feel that's something that people would probably want to mess around with fairly early on. So being able to have the option to have loadouts for your base configurations would be nice, because you never know how things are going to change if you can continuously unlock more stuff.
Of course, even cooler would be if we could upload these layouts to the cloud and then other people could download our creations and then use them for yourself. I would love that, because I can already tell that other people will be way more creative than I am, but I do know that this cloud feature is way easier said than done. Also because not every player will obviously have the same hideout props unlocked and the resources to place them all. Now, something I liked in the Valhalla settlements were the dummies that we could attack. Of course, they had these in Norway too, that we mostly used to look at the impact of the stats in the game. But in the hideout in Shadows, you cannot use your weapons. So that also means there are no dummies or range targets you could practice on, which I think would be fun, even if it's just in one contained area in the hideout. Now, being able to build your own parkour obstacle course would of course also be awesome. Just some things that I think could really elevate that user-creator content idea that the hideout right now is already pushing.
Y'all ever think we're going to get rid of yellow paint as a way to navigate around a map? Just asking.
To be fair though, having those dummies to test the power of perks and stats on would only really work if there were damage numbers. And I know not everyone wants to see them, I get it, but I hope they consider it at least as an option, and not only to more easily highlight the impact of changes you are making to your loadout, but also because there are critical hits in this game, crit chance perks, crit damage perks. It all triggers on a critical hit, but without damage numbers, it's really hard to notice when you do a critical hit, like almost impossible. I asked
Hold on, let me let him
Associate
finish.
Game Director Charles, and he once again said that they are not planned because it's immersion breaking, but
What? What do you mean it's immersion breaking? How do you have a gear system, a damage system, where you can see how... What do you mean? You don't have damage numbers that you can see because it's immersion breaking, but you have gear that has stats and DPS on it. How are you supposed to tell how good you're doing against enemies with gear that has damage numbers if you don't actually have damage numbers that we can see? How are we supposed to know how well we're doing with the weapons we have? How you don't have them because it's immersion breaking? No, that's a lie. That's a lie. You lying. You just don't want to add it. Y'all just never thought about adding it in. Ain't no way that you saying like we just don't want to break players' immersion, but you're introducing gear systems with levels. There is no piece of gear in real life. There's no piece of armor in real life or clothing in real life that actually has a level requirement to it. So, having gear with level requirements to them is already immersion breaking because that doesn't happen in real life. So, where's the lie going to stop? You have damage numbers on gear, weapon DPS, posture DPS, ability damage, adrenaline gain, numbers that are important for us who are trying to gauge just how strong we are. Suicide Squad does it. They got damage numbers. 80% plus critical damage when health is critical. Adrenaline gain plus 20.5%. Ability damage 3,733. Posture DPS 2,843. Weapon DPS 687 for an uncommon katana, the Diligent Katana of Honor, which is level 25, but no damage numbers to gauge how well that does to enemies in general. And there are no plans to add that in? Because it would be immersion breaking? That's the part where you say, no, we're doing too much. Really? That's the part where you say, no, we're doing too much. We don't need all of that? That's where you draw the line? How do you add stats on weapons that have actual numbers, but not actually have numbers where we can see how much damage we do? How do you have weapons that give you critical chance, but you can't see how much extra critical damage you're doing on the enemy that you're fighting? And you say you don't have it in there because it's immersion breaking? Last time I checked, people can't Wesker dash from one person to another. Don't think I didn't notice Naoe doing that as one of her special attacks. People can't do that in real life. But damage numbers is immersion breaking.
It all triggers on a critical hit, but without damage numbers, it's really hard to notice when you do a critical hit, like almost impossible. I asked Associate Game Director Charles, and he...
Damage numbers are immersion breaking. Yasuke literally just did a Shisunsun. Basically dashed, flash stepped over to a person. Damage numbers is immersion breaking, but Yasuke, as big as he is, no, look at this. Look at this.
Like almost impossible. I asked Associate Game Director.
You see where you see where Yasuke is. You see where the enemy is in the distance.
Game Director.
You see him dash through the guy anime style. That's fine. But damage numbers to know how well your weapons are doing against enemies is immersion breaking.
This when you do a critical hit, like almost impossible. I asked Associate Game Director Charles, and he once again said that they are not planned because it's immersion breaking, but
there are no plans to add damage numbers to the game because it's immersion breaking. But we will allow Yasuke to move faster than the eye can comprehend, for him to slash through a full-grown adult, despite the fact that Yasuke is wearing more armor than literally any other person in the entire game. He is also 250 pounds, wearing 50 pounds of armor, making him 300 pounds, hypothetical number. Roll with it. And you see him draw his sword and dash past a person in one singular movement, crossing 30 feet in a single second. But damage numbers is where you draw the line.
I at least hope they add it as an option, because I do think it would add to the longevity of the game for people like me who like to min-max their playstyle. Now, of course, curious to hear what you want them to approve or change. Like, we know they are listening as they're looking into a toggle for the black and white filter. We now see way too... We know they are listening as they're looking into a...
There is no way Naoe would have been able to pull this dude off of his feet. Both of his feet yanking so hard that he falls on his back and both his feet in the air. Given the fact that all that weight is on his legs, those legs should not be moving at all. But damage numbers is immersion breaking.
A toggle for the black and white filter we now see way too often. Would be cool if we could turn them off, and maybe also for abilities or assassinations individually. Now, some things that I don't think they will improve, or that will of course cost way more time to improve, are the emotionless and kind of lifeless faces of, in particular, Naoe during conversations. It really feels like a big step back from the previous games. Also, the voice acting for her just doesn't seem to be on the same level as the previous protagonist, especially during these regular conversations. So I hope she impresses more in the full game.
Let me go in your place, my lord. I've got some questions for these merchants.
I also don't think they will ever give us a way to change the time of day, although I already know that I will miss that feature a lot, especially for recordings, because gameplay during night is just very hard to see. Like, I get that stealth is easier during night, with Naue in particular, but what if you play Yasuke all the time and just want to see everything all the time? I really hope they bring the meditation back later on. Curious to hear what you hope they change or add later on. A like on the video would really help me out, and subscribe for way more Assassin's Creed Shadows content. And again, that settlement video, check it out if you haven't already by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.
No. No, that's a step back. That's a step back. I think I'm gonna end it there. That's disappointing. Why? Making excuses? How old are we? Yeah, I think I'm done with this. That was something. Disney and the remakes is one thing. Assassin's Creed, and the reason why you don't have damage numbers because seeing numbers pop up on your screen is immersion breaking. You had no problem doing that for the past several games! We don't want damage numbers because it'd be immersion breaking. And yet in the very same breath that you're saying that, the game shows Yasuke doing something that is physically impossible for his size. Gameplay wise. That's not immersion breaking, but damage numbers is crossing the line. Oh, this game is going to be fun to see reviews on later on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a very long session. How long was this? 2 hours? Yeah, 2 hours of me just reacting to a whole bunch of stuff and also checking out, Snow White and us just having a big old conversation about it all. Overall, I did enjoy the session with all of you, and I'm looking forward to the next time we get to, have some fun and play some games or even react to some different stuff. I was thinking about playing some Space Marine 2, but maybe I'll just make it a video so that way I'm not, that way I can condense it down just to check out some different things, so I'll probably do that instead. But thank you all for stopping by. I enjoyed the time that we had with each other, and I'm looking forward to the next time. All I can say to you is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples! Ugh.